Kirk to Enterprise. Come in.
It's gone. The Enterprise, it's gone.
What the devil does that mean, Jim? For one thing, the things were stranded.
What you're saying is that the planet didn't blow up, and the captain and the others, they're still alive.
Please, Mr. Scott, restrain your leaps of illogic.
What do you want?
I want to touch you. I am for Lieutenant Sulu.
No!
Howdy folks, I'm back by popular demand. Unless of course you hate me and think I'm a big idiot. To each their own. Because I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Which is why I'm gonna review another episode of the original Star Trek. My favorite of the Star Treks. This time I'm diving ass backwards all the way into the tail end of Season 3. Their final season. With the episode That Which Survives. Guest starring a former Miss America turned actress, Lee Merriweather, as this interestingly dressed lady, LOSIRA. And man, they really had a thing against showing belly buttons back in the 60s, didn't they? Is that good, 60s censors? Her navel's not showing. Idiots. What is that stupid thing? How's it even staying on? Glue? I best know Lee Merriweather from the Adam West Batman movie, not TV show now, and her one-time stint as Catwoman, and Miss Kitka. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. However, she's probably even more remembered from the TV series Barnaby Jones with Buddy Ebsen. But for now, she's this crazy bitch, LOSIRA, whose simple touch can kill you. So watch out, folks. She may be hot, but her touch can kill. So there is that. Unless you're Sulu, who would gladly die for just a moment of pleasure.
Alright, such evil. She's so beautiful.
But not this time, cause yup, that bitch survives. Then there's Spock, who, since Kirk is stranded on this planet the entire episode, is in command of the Enterprise with Scotty at his side. And boy, does it make for some great entertainment. When Spock displays a lot of cockiness while dealing with all these illogical humans. And it's just great. It's the highlight of the episode to me. So let's take it away with That Which Survives. She survives alright, and I guess she could be a witch, just not the Samantha Stevens kind. It's the Enterprise, everybody! And they've discovered a strange new planet in the what the fuck ever system. A planet so fascinating, even Spock himself can't explain it. Wow.
The facts do not fit any known categories of planets.
All sorts of strange questions are coming to light as they check this one out, like how impossibly far ahead the planet has evolved for such a young planet. Anyway, it's definitely worth investigating.
Precisely, Captain.
So Spock has the bridge, because Kirk, Sulu, and Dr. McCoy bring this walking corpse along, since they need a geologist on this mission, and this middle-aged guy will do. He is wearing a blue shirt, so he still may have a chance, but I doubt it. His name is D'Amato. And his only claim to fame, other than this episode of Star Trek, wouldn't come until the 1980s, when he played the dad, Mr. Kirkland, of that punch each other in the face family from the Police Academy movies. If you've seen any of those, you know what I'm talking about.
It has nothing to do with being fast. Now that was fast, huh?
Oh, that part!
Way to go, D'Amato! I loved you in that shit. Good one, son. Way to punch Jerry Paris's son in the face. So they all go to beam down to check this place out when this lady appears out of nowhere with out of this world eye makeup. Wow, that must take hours to apply. And she demands that they don't go. Only too late, lady. They're in mid-beam. talk about the last minute. Just 5 minutes earlier, he wouldn't have to walk over and touch the transporter officer, this red shirt idiot who immediately drops dead from her touch, or he just realized he was a red shirt and figured, why not just die? Bye, random red shirt, as he ascends into the extremely overcrowded red shirt heaven. This is the tail end of the 3rd season. A lot of dead red shirts at this point. So Kirk and company materialize on the planet's surface and start questioning what they just saw as they beam down when, boom, earthquake. An earthquake so powerful, it's happening in space too, as the Enterprise is tossed about before coming to a stop. Whew, that was weird. Then, as everyone starts to stand back up and regroup themselves, we get the first Spock steals the show with a snappy Spock comeback. Moment number 1.
Are you alright? What happened?
The occipital area of my head seems to have impacted with the arm of the chair.
Hey-oh! And we're off. This is gonna be fun. Good one, Spock. That's so Spock-like. Beautiful.
I meant, what happened to us?
But seriously though, the planet is now gone.
The planet's gone.
The fuck? Yeah, the planet they just beamed Kirk down to is now completely gone. So what? According to this chick anyway, Lieutenant Radha, the first person of Hindu descent to serve aboard the Enterprise. And no, the woman who plays her is not actually of Hindu descent. This actress was born in Motor City. Also the first female helmed woman. So back to the planet that Kirk's on, which is clearly still there because, they're standing on it. Yet Kirk can't seem to get in touch with the Enterprise on his flip phone. And as Sulu informs him,
It's gone.
it's probably because it's not friggin' there.
The Enterprise, it's gone.
Well, that's just great. Where the hell is it then? We just saw it. Spock hit his head on the chair. But who cares? Roll the credits. We can figure that out later because outer space, the final frontier to stick our flag in. Starring Captain Kirk, Scotty, Spock, Dr. McCoy, Sulu, Uhura, and D'Amato as the expendable geologist. With Lee Merriweather as the hut lady whose touch can kill.
I must touch him.
All this with Hogan's Heroes Kenneth Washington and a disco cue tonight on Star Trek. So back to the show. Sulu makes a guess as to what has happened because, like a lumberjack, they're all stumped. Waka waka! I heard that in the 5th grade. Kirk then tells Sulu pretty much to shut the fuck up, unless he has something constructive to say. Yes, Sulu, stop guessing, you dumbass. Man, Kirk is hating on Sulu right now. Why did he even bring him along? Just to abuse him?
Soon if I'd wanted a Russian history lesson, I'd have brought along Mr. Chekhov.
Chekhov's not even in this episode and he's dumping on his ass too. Whatever, Kirk. Calm down. So Kirk then sends everyone off to study the planet and see what they can find. Since they're gonna be here for a while apparently, as we cut back to the Enterprise. Where even though there was a space earthquake and now they don't seem to know where the planet is, everything else on the Enterprise seems to be great, except that one casualty they found in the transporter room, oops, which does baffle Spock a little bit, so he calls sickbay. But don't worry, Spock, because Dr. This guy and Dr. Sanchez are on it.
And Dr. Sanchez is conducting an autopsy right now.
Diversity! Star Trek represents everybody. We are a species here, people. Let's get our shit together, please. Fake Hindu lady, black guy, and Sanchez. I don't know if we ever actually see Sanchez. Got him back there, fucking around. Round of applause for Sanchez, everybody. So back to Lieutenant Radha, who has discovered that the planet has not exploded since there is no debris lying around. However, she did notice that the pattern of the view screen star field has changed, which then leads her to discover that somehow the Enterprise has been knocked 1,000 light years away from its original position.
And in a flash, we've been knocked 1,000 light years away from where we were.
When Spock, of course, has to jump in with Snappy Spock comeback number 2.
990.7 light years to be exact, Lieutenant.
990.7, Lieutenant Radha, you dumb idiot. Then Scotty jumps in with his opinion on how that's not even possible. When Spock, who's on fire at this point, throws a Snappy Spock comeback at him too. Number 3.
Your statement is not only illogical, but also unworthy of refutation.
Wow, not only illogical, but unworthy of refutation? Because hey, we're here.
Since we are here,
Take that, Scotty, you bumbling fucking idiot. So Scotty then points out that an explosion like that shouldn't hurl you anywhere. It should have destroyed the Enterprise completely. Which yes, it should have, Spock agrees. At least according to all their known sciences. So somehow, they have been teleported across space in a manner that even Spock cannot figure out. So, Spock's brain, like a board game, is boggled. Haha! That one was kind of stupid. That's when Scotty jumps in with his verbal analysis of the situation, saying that if the planet didn't blow up, that means that KIRK and company are fine, and now they're stranded on that planet. Which Spock takes complete advantage of with yet another snappy Spock comeback. Number 4.
please, Mr. Scott, restrain your leaps of illogic. I have said nothing.
Right, Mr. Scott? Would you restrain from your leaps of illogic already? I love it. Dumbass. Yeah, Spock said nothing.
I was merely speculating.
He merely speculated. You know, guessed. Like a human. An update from sickbay. That transporter guy died from his cells being destroyed from within, or something. Anyway, there's no known disease that would cause that. So we'll keep you posted as the updates come in, Spock. Doctor this guy out. Diversity. Spock then speculates about someone entering the transporter room after the beam down and killing the transporter guy. That's when Spock suggests to Scotty that they return to their starting point at top warp speed and go get KIRK and company. They're probably hungry, and they could be in danger from whatever did this to them. Scotty agrees, but points out that it will take a while to get back there. That is 1,000 light years, however long that is. So Spock suggests that he get the hell on it now then. Go! He makes this request.
Can you give me a warp 8?
To which Scotty replies,
I'll sit on the warp engines myself and nurse them.
and of course, Spock can't resist this one, as we get Spock's snappy comeback, number 5.
That position, Mr. Scott, would not only be unavailing, but also undignified.
That Spock was fucking comic gold. See, he has a sense of humor in there. And I must agree with him on this one. No humping the engines, Scotty. So it's warp 8, folks. We're headed back to KIRK. And that Diamato what's it if he's not already dead. Good one, son. So cut back there, where KIRK is currently getting Sulu's vegetation report on the planet. And it's not good. Nothing here is edible. It's all poison. So the Enterprise better hurry the hell up. KIRK wants a cheeseburger. Scotty, I was wrong. Start humping the engines if you think it'll help. Then Sulu's reader picks up something strange that can only be described as
The door opened and then closed again.
door opening and closing again. Well, okay. Energy door. All I can picture is Al, Quantum Leap, when he shows up. We'll cut over to Diamato, who's pretty much on borrowed time at this point, as he checks out some dirt. A geologist's wet dream. He then turns around and finds himself face to face with, hey, here she is again, Miss America. And she seems to know all about Diamato and who he is, every detail of his exciting geologist life. She even claims that she is for him. So, Diamato, Miss America wants you. Go for it, man! She then starts to reach for him, but if you remember what happened the last time to Mr. Redshirt, cut to McCoy, who reports to KIRK the same shit that Sulu just did. His tricorder picked up a power signal reminiscent to that of a door opening and then closing again. Al, are you fucking around with us? Damn! So after getting no answer from Diamato, they finally discover him. And he's, well, McCoy?
Every cell in his body's been disrupted.
Every cell disrupted? No, he's dead, Jim. Well, he is dead, Jim. Missed a perfect opportunity there, McCoy, for one of your classic he's dead Jims. So cut to later, when it's discovered while trying to dig a grave for Diamato's corpse, that the planet is made entirely out of this red rock substance that's covered with topsoil and apparently indestructible. Even their phasers can't shoot through it. Yeah, shit. So it looks like it's gonna be a rock grave for Diamato. Hey, just like KIRK, many years from now, remember? So time to figure out what killed Diamato. So let's check back with the Enterprise. Will Lieutenant Rada reports into Spock, who snaps back at her with another snappy comeback.
Our estimated time of arrival is 11 1/2 solar hours.
That insists you be more perfect like him.
11.337 hours, Lieutenant. I wish you would be more precise.
Damn it, he loves his decimal points, he does. That's when Scotty checks in with this unusual report about the ship not feeling quite right.
The feel is wrong.
Which of course Spock is in no mood for. So gives him, yep, you guessed it, a snappy Spock comeback, number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I suggest you avoid emotionalism and simply keep your instruments correct.
You're a weirdo, Mr. Scott, who himself is getting visibly annoyed with Spock at this point. So cut to Diamato's rock grave. We hardly knew ye. See you at the police academy. Good one, son! When hopeless Sulu has accepted the fact that they're all gonna die.
Looks so lonely there.
So McCoy gives him the business.
You know what killed him? None of us to say.
Yeah, shut up, Sulu. We never should have brought you on this mission. So back to the Enterprise and engineering, where we find Scotty putzing about, still feeling that things are out of place, I guess. So he sends Watkins here to go check on the
Check the bypass valve on the matter-antimatter reaction chamber.
bypass valve? Ooh, I know what the fuck that is. So he snaps right to it. Get going, Watkins. Listen to Scotty. And look who's in here waiting for him. It's Miss America again. And she knows everything about this guy Watkins too. Like how he's actually an actor named Kenneth Washington, who played Baker in the final season of Hogan's Heroes, after Ivan Dixon left. He's the only cast member still alive, I think. She then asked him to teach her about engineering, which he does. But I guess he was lying, because she calls him on his shit.
Not correct.
She already knows everything about engineering, you doofus. Takes an intelligent person to put on eye makeup like that. That's when she starts in with that I'm for you shit and starts reaching for him.
I am for you, Mr. Watkins.
Only he's smarter than the average red shirt and yells out to Scotty exactly what's happening to him.
Scott, there's a strange wolf that knows the entire plan of the Enterprise.
Right before her touch kills him and Scotty comes running in, right past Miss America, who's hiding in this corner. Who then, what the fuck? She folds herself in half and is gone, like Kate Moss slipping through a crack in the floor.
Whoops, a crack in the floor.
I guess being Miss America, Lee Merriweather had to be pretty thin. Or a door opening and closing again, I guess. Which, Scotty reports to Spock. So back to Kirk and the gang, who can't seem to make heads or tails as to what this planet is all about. The final answer they seem to settle on is that it was artificially made by an alien race, clearly far ahead of them on the level of evolution and technology.
Are you the Matrix?
But night's coming now, and Sulu agrees to take the first watch, in case Miss America decides to make another appearance, to defend her crown. So back to the Enterprise. The Spock presses sickbay for answers. The cause of death on our most recent tragedy. Watkins here is the same cause of death as the transporter guy. Hey, as the audience, we already know that. But as to how it happened, well, the cause of death is yet to be discovered. So it's anybody's guess, which Spock is not too happy to hear, said aloud.
Your guess is as good as mine.
So it's time for his next snappy comeback, number 8, I think. I don't know, I'm losing track here.
My guess, Doctor, would be valueless. I suggest we refrain from guessing and find some facts.
Spock hates guessing. Now get to work, you dumb guesser of things. At least call it speculating like Spock does. So, Spock's current analysis: there's a highly sophisticated alien species at work here, people. And there may be an alien presence on board the Enterprise. Also, Captain Kirk and the others may be in the same danger from the very same alien presence. So cut to them and let's see. Kirk and McCoy are still good, napping together. Aw, that's cute. So let's check on Sulu, who gets to be the next lucky guy to meet Miss America. She really gets around this lady, and of course knows all about Sulu. Who doesn't?
You are Lieutenant Sulu. You were born on the planet Earth. You're helmsman for the Enterprise.
Sulu's life's an open fucking book. Sulu then tries to get her to come along with him. Only nope.
I want to touch you.
She starts doing that I'm for you shit again and starts reaching for Sulu. Man, if this were me and hot ass Miss America wanted to touch me, well, I guess you'd be burying my ass next to Diamata. I guess. Oh well, it was worth it, I guess. Miss America touched me, and it caused my instant death. Right down on my grave. What a way to go. Only Sulu wants to live. He's not into chicks anyway, as we all know. So he gives her a fair warning before opening phaser fire on her. Die, bitch! Die, Miss America! Which, as one may have guessed, like the Doomsday Machine, have absolutely no effect on her. So Sulu yells for Kirk.
Captain Kirk! Captain Kirk!
Runs and trips over this rock like an idiot, just as Miss America barely grazes Sulu's shoulder with her hand, causing him to yell out in pain, but not die, as Kirk comes running into his aid. With McCoy at his side, Sulu quickly warns Kirk about her immunity to phaser fire. Don't try it. And about her deadly touch that he narrowly escaped, since I guess she didn't get a good enough grip on him. Lucky Sulu. So snap, now Kirk gets to come face to face with Miss America, and is mesmerized by her beauty, of course. Oh, Kirk, please. But mostly her wild-eyed makeup, and can't resist, and breaks into Shatner's song. She's beauty and she's grace. She's queen of 50 states.
She's Miss United States.
She's beauty and she's grace. She's queen of 50 states. She's elegance and taste. She's Miss United States. Hold your whoops, a crack in the floor.
Only she insists that she is here for Sulu, and Sulu alone, not for you. So buzz off, Shatner. She's in the Japanese men, okay?
I am for Lieutenant Sulu.
So she reaches for him and ends up touching Kirk instead, who's not affected by her touch at all. So he shoves her hand away and knocks the bitch back a peg. Take that, Miss America. You've just been manhandled by Captain Kirk, sort of.
Are there men on this planet?
Any men? That's your first question? Who cares? What, are you worried about competition or something? So why did her touch not kill Kirk? Would be the question now, which Kirk directly asks her.
How can you destroy others and not me?
She seems all confused by this shit and insists she is here for Sulu. Needs to touch the guy. Sexy man stud that he is. But considering that her touch equals Sulu's death, they force her to stay back, which forces her to do that fold in half thing. Disappear. Oops, crack in the floor. Complete with its own eerie theme music too. I like it. See that shit, Bones? But I guess Sulu's gonna be fine, as they all comment on how damn hot Lee Merriweather was.
It's beautiful.
And don't worry, Sulu's shoulder is the only thing she got.
His shoulder, where she touched it, every cell's been disrupted, exploded from within.
So he'll live another day. Excelsior! So back to the Enterprise, where Uhura informs Spock, where after a thorough check we have discovered that there are no intruders aboard the Enterprise. So when that crazy bitch folded up, she left totally. So Spock spurts some more logic.
How did she get off the ship, sir?
Presumably the same way she got off.
When we find out from engineering that the ship's speed is increasing for some reason, and Scotty just found out why. Something in the engine is fused together. Not good, because now the engines are running wild, and there's no safe way to get to them now. Which means, according to Scotty, that the engines will overload and explode in 15 minutes. That's when Spock corrects Scotty with, yup, another snappy-ass Spock comeback. Number 9, I think.
Reach maximum overload in about 15 minutes.
Even on the brink of death when he says,
I would calculate 14.87 minutes, Mr. Scott.
yeah, Scotty, you moron. 14.87 minutes. You unmathematical fuckhead. So Scotty sticks it back to Spock, this time with Scotty's first snappy comeback.
Those few seconds will not make any difference, Mr. Spock, because you and I and the rest of the crew will no longer be here to bandy it back and forth.
Yeah, Spock, we're fucked no matter what, because the Enterprise is now gonna blow the hell up. So take your decimal point and shove it up your Vulcan ass. Back to Kirk and company real quick, as they try to figure out what this Miss America lady shit is all about. Fuck that, back to the Enterprise, where it's verified that whatever fused the engines together was deliberate. So, sabotage. Only, how was this done, considering the amount of power even that would take? Which Spock finds interesting, thus confusing Scotty.
I find nothing interesting in the fact that we're about to blow up.
But the method is fascinating.
It's the method that fascinates Spock. He's a weirdo too. The method of how we're all gonna die. But don't worry, Scotty, I'm sure the chick that did this is long gone. As we know she is. She's not gonna stick around here and blow the hell up with you. As Spock, oh so lets Scotty know. With yup, another snappy Spock come back. Holy shit.
Force that could hurl us 990.7 light years away will not be waiting around to be taken into custody.
So Spock has a plan. He's gonna crawl into a super dangerous Jeffries tube inside the antimatter reaction chamber that may not even be livable, where he intends to use a tiny magnetic who's-it to cut off the fuel flow, or something like that. A very dangerous job that could result in his death because they might be forced to jettison him and that part of the ship out into space in case it blows up. So it's kind of a suicide mission. And Spock plans on doing this himself when Scotty steps in to stop him with his own logic. Even though it sounds nutty, it's all they got. And Scotty is way better suited for any job that requires crawling around inside of a Jeffries tube in engineering. And Spock agrees, of course, because it's logical. Teamwork. Unless they all die, of course. Spock then mentions what Scotty said earlier about the ship not feeling right.
The feel is wrong.
And Spock blowing it off as human emotion when Scotty says,
It was an emotional statement. I don't expect you to understand it.
And Spock snaps back with perhaps his coolest, snappy Spock comeback so far.
I noted, Mr. Scott, without necessarily understanding it.
Good one, Spock. In your face, Scotty. We could all take a lesson there from Spock. He's just a little too logical. So he heads off to check this theory of his. So Scotty, get your ass in that Jeffries tube. Save everyone's life again, while nearly dying in the process. Go, hop to it. So cut back to Kirk, who has deducted that this bitch trying to kill him can only attack one of them at a time. Which is when Kirk's phaser starts to overload all by itself.
Phaser on overload.
Just like in Conscience of the King, when that other crazy bitch tried to kill Kirk. Damn, Kirk. Bitch is always trying to blow you up with phasers on overload. Does mine overload? I think mine might have that power too. Uh-oh. Shit. Well, I guess it's been real. This is the end of the review. I didn't get to finish it. Sorry, folks. Should I throw it? No, I'm dead. I'm back, not really dead. So Kirk tosses the thing like a grenade, and everyone takes cover when kaboom! Phaser explodes. She did that shit, didn't she? With her mystical smarter-than-us powers. So back to the Enterprise, where Scotty is inserted into the most dangerous Jeffries tube ever, complete with these crazy electrons right above his head. So Scotty calls Spock on the bridge, letting him know again how dangerous this shit is, and to be all ready to jettison him out into open space if needed. Don't worry, Scotty. Spock has no problem sacrificing your life for the good of everyone else. I believe that because it's logical. That's when Scotty foolishly makes this comparison on what it feels like to be in there.
Close to the flow now, and it feels like ants crawling all over my body.
Oh boy, Scotty. How do you expect Spock to react to that? I know, with his number 12 snappy ass Spock comeback.
Scott, I suggest you refrain from any further subjective description.
Just do your job, Scotty. The ship is going crazy ass fast, and we can't slow it down. You have 10 minutes. I feel like it always comes down to this. Scotty's in the tube trying to save the day. Everybody's about to die. It's usually for a different reason, but Scotty then puts this thing on and starts telling Spock his every move, which Spock tells him to please knock off.
I am aware of these facts. Please get on with the job.
As he gets this panel open. So far so good, I guess. Scotty then sticks this thing in there as he keeps describing it to Spock, who comes back with an update in time frame.
You have 8 minutes, 41 seconds.
As we see Scotty now clearly losing his patience with Spock.
What time it is, I don't need a bloomin' cuckoo clock.
So back to Kirk and company again as they pick up that same door opening and closing shit again. As Miss America makes another appearance. Only this one is here for Kirk.
For you, James T. Kirk, Commander of the Enterprise.
There you go, Kirk. Show her the time of her life.
Miss United States.
So to protect Kirk, Sulu and McCoy create a people wall to keep her at bay. This gives Kirk time to question her. That's where they find out that her name is LOSIRA.
I am LOSIRA.
She is the commander of this station, and she is a defense mechanism, here to keep invaders like you out. She also doesn't seem to agree with killing you, yet clearly uses it to protect this place.
Killing is wrong.
Kirk asked her if she's lonely.
How long have you been alone? Are you lonely?
Cause, well, he's here to keep you company, I guess. Kirk, you old horn dog. You can't resist it, even though her touch kills. So, seeing that she's getting nowhere, she jumps back and folds herself away again, through a crack in the floor, a la Kate Moss style, with that whole eerie theme music to go with it. As McCoy tracks it on his tricorder, because they assume the source of it may be nearby, so they go looking for it. When it finds them, bum bum bum, a secret cave door opens, seemingly inviting them in. Only considering their experiences here, would you go in? But then they point out that any chance of survival lies in that cave, so fuck it, I guess we're going in. Let's go meet Miss America, again. So back on the Enterprise, Scotty still fucks around in the death tube when Spock finally realizes what the problem is and why Scotty is failing to slow down the ship. It all goes back to that feeling he had about the ship not feeling right.
The feel is wrong. It was an emotional statement. I don't expect you to understand it.
I note it, Mr. Scott, without necessarily understanding it.
Yeah. It turns out that the Enterprise was teleported across the galaxy, 1,000 light years, well, 990 point what's it, and when it was reassembled slightly out of phase. So by reversing the polarity on this thing that he's using, should fix the problem and save the day. Although Scotty struggles to do this as the seconds tick away, and Scotty insisting the whole time that you just jettison his ass into space. It's too late. He's done for. Save the rest of this ship. Get a new engineer. Only Spock refuses to do this until all else fails. Then, right at 0, Scotty manages to get the thing stuck. Still begging Spock to let him die in space already. And now, past the deadline, Scotty still fucks around in there, and Spock waits patiently as the ship gradually starts to slow down. Meaning, guess what? Scotty did it! He saved the fucking day! Again! What would we do without you, Scotty? Die, probably. When Spock informed Scotty that he did it, man. Way to accomplish your task, Scotty.
You have accomplished your task.
Scotty then foolishly asked Spock for a thank you.
You might at least say thank you.
Scotty, really? Have you not learned? When we get the final snappy Spock comeback of the episode. And it's beautiful as he goes on with his lack of understanding as to why us stupid humans always feel the need to be thanked for shit that we did. Like saving everybody's fucking life, including you, Spock.
For what purpose, Mr. Scott? 2 men pursue the only reasonable course of action indicated, and yet you feel that something else is necessary.
I do get you a little bit there, Spock. So back to Kirk and the gang as they enter this room, complete with a square disco ball. Nice. This place would make a real groovy 60s apartment until Jack Webb busts in and arrests me for marijuana possession.
Have you been smoking marijuana?
No, I'm not going to give you a lecture. I don't have the time. I'm just going to lay it out for you straight. Now, you listen to me. You chippy around with marijuana long enough and you're going to buy yourself a lot of grief. After a while, marijuana won't be enough. You'll start looking for a bigger kick, and then a bigger one after that. And all of this is going to go down the tubes. Your job, your house, car, family, everything. We've seen it happen before, and not just to the neurotics and psychotics, but to nice, clean-cut kids from good families with good educations. They start out just like you, and they end up mainliners, shooting it in their arms. And they end up dead, or wishing they were.
No lecture, huh?
And look who's here, of course, Miss America in all her glory. And she wants Kirk again, commander of the Enterprise, and all-American horn dog.
I am for James T. Kirk.
You're a very determined woman for me.
So they make that people wall again, only she's ready for it this time. Here's one for McCoy, and one for Sulu too. I'm surprised she's not an Asian one. Great, now you're all screwed. Switch places. That's when, right in the nick of time, Spock and this red shirt beam down right to their location as Kirk yells to him to destroy the disco square because that is the computer keeping this place alive. So red shirt to the rescue. Fire away. And the disco square computer is dead. And the Miss Americas are gone. That part seemed too easy. So time to wrap it all up. Glad to see Spock. He explains to Kirk how they were hurled 990.7 light years.
990.7 light years.
Across the galaxy. Still with the exact number too. All done by this high-tech computer that they were forced to destroy, sadly. Spock is a bit saddened by this shit, of course. Really smart computer that we had to kill. Probably liked logic and stuff. That's when this taped message from the real LOSIRA comes on. A message intended for her own, but now dead, species. Turns out that in creating this planet, they created a deadly organism that led to her death. So she programmed the computer to defend the place until her people arrived. And to do this, the computer took the only form it knew. Her, the voila, explanation. However, they note that the computer was so perfect that it seemed to project some of LOSIRA's personality into it when feeling regret and killing. And even though she's been dead for centuries, Kirk still ogles her, and what an awesome chick she must have been. Oh, Kirk. Of course, they remark on her beauty again, Miss America and all, when logical Mr. Spock throws in this really good point.
Beauty is transitory, Doctor. However, she was evidently highly intelligent.
Which Kirk, of course, immediately dismisses with,
I don't agree with you, Mr. Spock. Indeed, Captain. Beauty survives.
hey, that's almost the name of the episode. So fuck her intelligence, I guess, Kirk. She was hot. Oh, Kirk. And that's also the end of the episode. Sending me right into my final thoughts on that which survives. So beauty survives, I guess, in the way that, say, Lauren Bacall or Marilyn Monroe. Their beauties survive through the old movies they made, even years after their deaths. Is that sort of what they meant, maybe? That's how I'm taking it. Like even Lee Merriweather here. She may be old now, but her beauty survives. In this episode, and in the Batman movie. Not that she's a bad-looking old lady. I think she still looks great. But in the end, Spock being such a snappy commander of the Enterprise throughout this episode is what I love the most. It was great to see Spock trying to work with all these illogical humans and having to deal with all their overt emotional shit until it turns him into this cocky, arrogant, douchey seeming kind of Spock. But in a funny way. It was well written in my opinion. You really got to see Spock shine as commander of the Enterprise, and it was hilarious. As for Sulu, well, he was very little help here. Although he was present, it's almost like no one wanted him around, and we're just dealing with him being here.
Our Sulu, if I'd wanted a Russian history lesson, I'd have brought along Mr. Chekhov.
Fine, Sulu, you can come along, I guess. And a final hurrah for the guests in this episode. Arthur, see if I can say this right, Badanides. That's how I'm saying it. He played Diamata, Punchy Dad from the Police Academy movies.
Dad. Well, I stuck in the lousy sandwich.
Then Kenneth Washington from Hogan's Heroes as Watkins. And of course the first Hindu character, Lieutenant Radha, played by a totally white chick born in Motor City, like I said. That's good for that time period, I guess. Besides the dot on the head, I think that's the only thing that really says she's Hindu. Nice try though. At least you got a real black guy. And that will do it for my look at Season 3's Episode 17, That Which Survives. And now that witch is dead. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Turns out she was dead for decades though, and was actually a remarkable woman in real life. Maybe. So thank you again to all my subscribers, and for all the comments. I love them. It's always appreciated, since I do enjoy doing this. So adios for now, folks, and I'll see you at the theater.